Ray, and this is TinyTableGames. Today I want to talk about Lorcana, the Gateway Box, which is essentially a two-player starter with some extra bits and predefined cards. Definitely not if you're trying to pick up cards, this is the box for you. But I wanted to see how good of a two-player starter is it for teaching people the game, which is theoretically the goal of this box. So with that said, let's take a look at it.
So what comes in the Gateway Box anyway? Well, several things. As always, with any introductory thing, you've got the read this first rules. Now these rules were surprisingly not as good as I was expecting, to be honest. I tried to do this with someone who has never played a TCG before, and her opinion was less than stellar about how these rules explain things. So how this Gateway Box has decided to start things is they break the game into sections effectively. For your first game, you just play, or several games, you play with the characters and actions and no other card types. So it talks about those two things and the basic how to play the game and your inkwell and using the ability and questing and challenging, and that's it. So you're like, all right, well, that's not so bad. And then the game, interestingly, comes with the two starter decks. Notice it says do not shuffle. After your first game, of course, you can't shuffle it, and it says in the guidebook what order to put the cards back into. And so the two decks are themed around Stitch and the Evil Queen there, and Elsa and Mickey. And both decks come with little, and this was kind of weird, I thought, for teaching people how to play this game who have never played it before and probably haven't played a trading card game before. Why would you put here's the best techniques and tricks you can use with this deck? I mean, I guess, but they're already talking about stuff that makes no sense to you until you've already gone through all the other rules. Because what this game does is, this guidebook is basically trying to build up almost like a tutorial level in a video game or something. Or in a legacy board game where more rules get added over time. It's like, okay, for your starting decks, you need to unlock future things by doing 3 or more quests or 3 challenges, and quest and challenge on the same term. And if you've completed all those goals, then congratulations. Excuse me. It says you should open the next packs and keep going. So if you haven't, you just play again, and I guess over a period of time, you get those 4 check boxes filled out and then open the next pack. So what this also comes with is a series of sealed packs labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, and you guessed it, it corresponds to which level of the starting game through the guidebook you got through. So after the first one, you open starting pack 1, and that's got some more cards to add to each deck. So what's the goal of that? Well, each level talks about different card things, like obviously Gate 1, as they call it, or Pack 1, is songs. And then that's it. And so they're like, all right, so having added songs to the deck, you play again, and for the unlock the next goal in this one, it's play 2 more actions on the same turn, sing 2 songs in the game, use a song to lower opponent's strength, or use a song to draw a card. So if you've done that, open Reward Pack 2, separate the cards into their decks. And so you go through this a total of 4 times. And theoretically, by the end of it, you'll be playing the full game. And they explain that they figure that when you're done with this and you have all these packs out, you'll have yourself a viable deck to play with. Granted, all the cards are known in advance, so there's not like there's no boosters or anything in here. There's no surprises about what cards you're getting. Every other Gateway Box is going to be precisely the same cards, which honestly I thought was a little weird. Virtually every pack I've ever seen always comes with at least some boosters to just give people some randomness. And then the last thing they include is interesting. And the reason why the box is shaped the way it is they put in a hard cardboard board for playing. And it's got the lore count down the middle, and then on each side, deck, discard, your inkwell, cards in play, and a little descriptor about on your turn you can do this, which is basically just the shorthand, and a little code down there for what each icon means. And it's duplicated on the other side, mirrored across the center there. So we tried playing with this, and what we found is very quickly your inkwell, if you're trying to line your cards up and be neat, fills up. And it doesn't explain that you can just pile all your inkwell cards together and it doesn't really matter. So a lot of which caused a fair bit of confusion amongst the new player, because there's a lot of rules in this game that were clearly written by people who played a lot of Magic the Gathering and similar games. And yes, I know the history of this game, and it kind of got boring out of people who played that. But they make a lot of assumptions that you already know what you're doing with a TCG, and kind of skip over a lot of the fundamentals, leaving you to work it out for yourself. I should mention also that there's a little QR code that when you play all through it, if you want to reset the game for new players, as they say, that'll give you the card list of what the starting decks are supposed to look like, including the starting order of the cards, since they prefix that for you for the very first game. Although after the very first game, they do tell you to shuffle up and play normally. So as you go through each gateway, hence the name of the box, I suppose, you open the new cards. But see, the thing is, also, I don't really agree with how this gateway is set up. I'm not quite sure why questing with 3 or more characters on the same turn is particularly an indicator that you're learning how to play, more than just getting a mechanic down. It's just doesn't make a lot of sense from that regard to me. So, in summary, this is possibly the worst introduction to this game you could imagine, is for how it works. If you're a completely new player, I don't see why you'd think this is fun. In fact, the person I was trying to teach it to kept asking me why we were doing things, because they reduced the mechanics down so far that it just becomes, okay, well, what do I do on my turn? Well, now you quest. Okay, and then you get the lore from it. All right, now what do you do? Well, now I quest, and I get the lore from it. Okay, now what do I do? Well, same thing, but draw a card first. And it just, it removes so much of the play out that there's just not much reason to do it, at least from a perspective of a new player. And as always, the card art's nice and all that stuff, but, you know, motivation to get somebody to play more than once, let alone get through all these packs, I don't know that that's going to happen. But if you're curious, and I haven't opened these yet, let's go ahead and go through each of these gateways and pretend that we'd actually played through these sections and accomplished what they say to accomplish in each one. So here's pack 1. Do not open until instructed. All right. So let's say we quested and did challenges on the same turn and all that stuff. So note it also has a QR code to reset that. So what cards did it put in here? Well, it doesn't really, I mean, the colors are different, so you can figure out who's supposed to get what. But you think they'd at least put in a little divider telling you who is who? Other than that, it's just cards, mostly songs, obviously, because that's what they're working for this particular unlock, is they want you to do songs. So other than an Ariel and a Piglet, virtually everything is a song in this particular set. Okay, so you've added songs and 2 new characters, and then the whole unlock for this one is sing songs, basically. Oops, that's the wrong one, sorry. Play 2 or more actions on the same term. Songs are actions. Sing 2 or more songs. Use a song to lower strength. Use a song to draw a card. And you know, this always, I think a good analogy is if you were trying to teach somebody how to paint miniatures and explain to them why painting miniatures is fun, why wouldn't you just give them the miniature and some paints and say, let your imagination go crazy and let's see how it goes? This feels like you're trying to teach somebody to enjoy painting a miniature by teaching them how to paint a fence first, and trying to get them to believe that it's going to be enjoyable painting something else while you keep saying, no, keep painting the fence. In any case, let's move on. So we got through our second hurdle, gateway, and the second unlock And it says items and ability costs are what the theme of this particular unlock is. And there's the little, here's how to set your deck back thing again. So we got another Storyborn Mickey Mouse. And zoom in a little bit here. There we go. So Storyborn Mickey Mouse, a record player, dingle hoppers, lanterns, Magic of Dispel, Rose Lantern, Trident. Bell, hadn't seen that artwork before, although I probably should have. Scepter Varendell, Field of Ice, Ice Block, Medallion. So just items and a couple more characters, or a couple of versions of characters. But so let's say you get through that. This unlock is play 3 or more items in a game, which would bring me back to the new player's question of, well, why? What's more fun about doing that? And then gate 3, of course, is Floodborne characters and Shift, which is probably one of the most esoteric, I guess, parts of the game, I think. For somebody who's new to TCGs altogether, granted, it's kind of a stealing from like a Pokemon or a Yu-Gi-Oh! Upgrade process, but it's just a little weird. All right, so Pluto, big surprise. Why are you not focusing? Focus. So yeah, it comes with Pluto in this one, Stitch, Nani, more Plutos, Madam Mim, all Storyborn and Floodborn, basically. Jasmine, Olaf's, another Minnie Mouse, and Tigger. And finally, having gone through that gate, and to get unlocked out of that one, as I wob this thing up, you have to play 2 more characters with their shift abilities, gain 7 or more lore on the same turn. That seems a weird one. Have a hero character, ally or villain, all at the same time. Yeah, I don't... Why is that fun? I don't get it. And finally, this is supposed to be your everything is unlocked portion of the game, and now you're playing the whole thing. So, and they say, oh, there's more to explore, get more cards. So there's Bernard. Okay, he's pretty cool. I do like Bernard. Cogsworth, Mr. Snoops, Minnie Mouse again, Cobra Bubbles, that's a new one, but okay. Didn't realize that was a dude's name. Mama Odie, Madam Mim, Anna. So in the last one, they mixed in some more rare cards and a couple ultra rares. That's interesting. But, So there you go. Now I've spoiled the surprise for you as to what's in all of the Gateway packs. Do I think you should get this? No, I do not. If you want to teach somebody how to play this game, get 2 starter decks, which are much more themed, much more interesting, and just start talking. You don't need this board. It just gets in the way and confuses people because they think they have to keep all their cards within the little parameters of where they are on the board, as opposed to realizing it's just a suggestion because, hey, why would they? They haven't played this before. So this is a very disappointing learn how to play pack. I do not recommend it, especially with the price, and you don't get any bonus cards or booster packs or anything like that. So will I be keeping this? I'll be keeping the cards. Am I going to keep that board? Nah, I'm probably just going to toss it in the trash, to be honest with you, and most of the box and the rules and stuff. I'll just add the cards to my pool and maybe use them to mix up another deck. So please don't go buy this box. It's really not worth it. Just save you the hassle. Buy a couple starter decks of themes that you actually like or the person you're trying to teach enjoys, a character they like, and you're going to be much better off than using this. This was a bad idea. It's poorly done, and it doesn't help you learn the game or enjoy the game anymore. Like I said, it's much like teaching somebody to paint miniatures by showing them how much fun it is to paint a fence first. So there you have it. I hope you liked it. I'm Ray. This is Tiny Table Games. I hope you have a great evening.